Hi, this is Steve.
And I'm Marcus with Steph & Marcus. This is the first in a series of informational videos that we're going to be doing about coffee, coffee brewing, and Q&A topics that you send in. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Your thumbs up will help others discover it. So, Steve, what are we going to talk about today?
Today we're going to talk about coffee dosing.
Oh.
And so measuring coffee.
Okay.
All right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about measuring coffee.
Okay.
And one of the challenges I think we've encountered in the past is how much to recommend to dose. And we get a lot of questions about, especially light roasted coffees. People saying, hey, it tastes weak, or it tastes sour, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And I think the problem, the root cause of the problem goes back to these little things called dosing spoons. And a lot of people are using these dosing spoons to measure coffee. And as you can see, here I've got 5 of them right here. They're all different sizes, okay? This one I think came with a Hario V60 brewer. This came with an old espresso machine. I don't even know where this one came from. I think this is also an espresso machine. And then this came with coffee.
Oh,
okay. But you notice they're all different sizes, okay? So how you would know how much to dose
from all these different varieties.
Yeah, kind of as a predicament. The other thing that's kind of problematic, and maybe your observations here will help, is I got two different coffee samples here.
Right.
This is obviously a very dark roast. This is a light roasted coffee. What do you notice about these two?
There's more in this plate than this one.
Yeah, well, that's only partially true. It turns out that these actually have the same amount of coffee. Yes, this has a higher volume of beans than this one does, but these are the same dosage for brewing 2 cups of coffee. So this is 20 grams of coffee here, and this is 20 grams of coffee.
Okay, I was going to say by weight. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And so the proper way to dose coffee is by weight.
Okay.
And, a lot of coffee brewers assume a certain grind, and they also a certain roast level to arrive at these kind of sizes, these dosing spoons. Okay? So for this one that came with the coffee, it was probably a medium roast coffee with a medium grind, and they probably specified the number of scoops for that particular coffee. The problem you encounter is you can't use this for this coffee or this coffee. It's only for the coffee that it came with, and for that particular grind setting.
Yeah.
Okay? So the way in which we can accurately measure coffee every single time and do it in a way that's not burdensome is actually to use a gram scale. Now, most people have kitchen scales, scale like this. And these are pretty good, but the challenge with one like this is oftentimes they don't have enough resolution. So this one will measure in grams, it'll measure in ounces by weight as well as pounds, but its resolution is only 1 gram resolution. Okay. And we're trying to measure 1 gram of accuracy, so this is going to be off by plus or minus half a gram. Okay, so these typically aren't very good. So let me set this one aside. Let me move these things aside since we're not going to use them. And let me show you 3 scales. They're all range in price. This one is from a company called American Measurement Systems, AWS. It's got a little blade that flips out like this. I think this thing costs all of $10 or $15. Okay. Yep. You can find these on Amazon. They're basically jewelry scales, but they will measure up to 1 kilo of weight, which is plenty enough for measuring coffee. Okay. Then we have this guy here, which is a very popular scale out there for people doing pour-overs. This is called a Hario V60 scale. This costs about $50 to $60. Okay. And what's really nice is it's got a big enough platform to where if you want to put a brew pot on it, you can put a brew pot on top. Yeah. And measure the weight of the water at the same time as you're measuring the coffee. Right. It also has a brew timer built into it, so you can measure the rate at which you're doing your pour over. Yeah. Okay. So these are very nice scales, and then this is $50 to $60. And then we have a scale like this, which is called an Akaya scale. These are used in a lot of coffee shops.
Uh-huh.
They're also used for pour overs. They have bigger versions of that. This one's designed for espresso.
Oh, I see.
It also has brew timers built in, but it also can auto tear. When you put stuff on it, it'll automatically
see.
zero it out
Right. Okay.
before you start brewing. So this is a little bit overkill for doing things like pour overs or brew coffee.
Yeah.
But it's perfect for espresso. because
Okay.
It's very convenient to use. Also has, it can be charged up. So I would recommend, using a scale, inexpensive scale like this to start off with. $10 or $12 investment is all it
Okay.
takes. The only thing you have to be careful with a scale like this is that it's not waterproof.
Okay.
So if
right.
you are trying to do a pour over and you spill water into the works of this thing, it's probably going to kill it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Whereas something like this, you just wipe it off.
Yeah.
It's not a problem.
So I think for most people, using a measuring cup they think it's easy, and weighing things is more difficult.
Well, it's like you say, one more thing. Okay, you can stick the dosing spoon into the bag and off they go, right? The challenge is, when you get a new coffee or a different roast, then you got to do a bunch of trial and error every single time until you get it right. And then if the grind is too fine or the grind is too coarse, then you got to play with that as well, and then back to square one. And then if you change brewing methods, you've got to start over again. So this particular approach that we're going to show you will work no matter what brew method you're using. And then all you have to concern yourself with is properly measuring the amount of water based on whatever approach you take. And the other aspect of it is making sure your grind setting is appropriate for the type of coffee you're using.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So one might ask, okay, that's all well and good. I don't know how many grams to give.
Yeah. So what do you recommend for people to use as a rule of thumb when they're deciding on how much coffee for their cup of coffee, or however many cups of coffee they want?
Okay. Well, I have a very simple recommendation for that. So, you see we have a brewer over here. Most people using brewers like this in the United States, they have little tick marks for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth, usually starting at 2. It turns out that most brewers brew coffee in 5 fluid ounce servings. Okay, so for 2 servings, that's 10 ounces. For 3, it's 15, and so on.
Right.
Okay. That's even true for percolator pots. We have a percolator pot buried someplace, but I measured it out one time, and sure enough, it's 5 ounce servings. Okay. It turns out 5 ounces is roughly equal to 150 milliliters, and so keep that in the back of your brain in a few minutes, because we'll talk about that. But I want to talk about ounces first. So for the amount of coffee you need for a brewer like this, where it serves in 5 ounce servings, it's 10 grams per serving.
Okay.
Okay, or if you're doing it in ounces, it's 2 grams of coffee for every fluid ounce of water. Okay, and that's going in. That's not
So
coming
10
out.
grams of coffee for each serving, or every cup of coffee.
That's correct.
Okay.
So if you do 2 servings, how much is that?
20.
That's right, 20 grams. Okay, so very, very simple. It's a starting point for anyone can master, 10 grams per serving. And then you use the grind setting that you think is the most appropriate for that type of brewer.
Yeah.
And you test it out.
Yeah.
Okay, if it's a little too weak for you, then increase that amount by a gram. So instead of, let's say you served up 20 grams of coffee and you thought, oh, it's a little weak. Okay, bump it up to 21 grams. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
If the coffee is a little bit sour, say it's a light roasted coffee and it's a little sour, it tastes like pixie sticks. Pixie sticks. Then you might grind it more fine.
Okay.
Okay. If it's super bitter but the right strength, then you might make it more coarse.
Okay.
Grind it more coarse.
Okay.
Okay. So that's it's simple as that.
Okay.
For these type of brewers. Okay. So let's say we wanted to brew on a pour over like this. Okay. So these things don't have tick marks,
Right.
okay? And so you don't really kind of know how much water you're putting in there. And I guess you could measure the water going
Right.
into your boiler, but that's kind of a nuisance. It turns out there's actually a simple way for this as well. And that is you measure in milliliters. And the reason you measure in milliliters instead of ounces for something like this is because for every gram of water is 1 milliliter of water.
Okay.
So in this particular case, grams equals milliliters when it comes to water. Okay, so it makes it very easy to know how much water you've put into this. Okay, and so we know from what we said before that 150 milliliters is roughly 5 ounces. That means 150 milliliters per serving is what you would serve in this thing, or 150 grams of water.
Okay.
Okay, so then what you do is you measure out your coffee, you grind it, you put it into the filter. You tear it out, you zero out the scale.
Okay.
And then you pour the water in until you get to whatever the serving size is. So if you're doing 1 serving, it's 150 grams. You pour again. If you get to 2 servings, that's 300 grams.
So you do pre-measure out the water that you're going to be pouring in here. So you know how much.
No, you don't need to. So in this particular case, all you do is you put the scale on, and you pour until you get to 150 grams.
I
or
see.
300
Right. So
grams.
you're watching this to see when it gets to the
scale.
150 milligrams for each of the servings.
Right. Now you can do that with this crazy little jewelry scale. But the danger with this one again is if you spill the water, you might ruin it.
Yeah.
So and as long as you're careful with it, you're fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So so with that, let's make some coffee.
Let's do it.
Oh, okay. So it looks like you put 2 cups in there, huh?
Yep. I put some water in for 2 cups of coffee.
Okay. So how many grams of coffee do we need?
20.
Okay. So go ahead and measure it out.
I cleared it out.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, just right.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and grind it. There we go. There's your 20 grams of coffee.
Thank you. Oh, it smells good.
Yeah, it does. Oof, man, that's fresh. Oof. That's that light roasted Colombian. Okay, go ahead and hit brew. But you have to turn it on first. There you go. All right. Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and make a pour over.
Okay, sounds good. I'll watch you do that.
All right. All right, so I've already put 20 grams in this, so I'll go ahead and make 300 milliliters or 300 grams of
So 2
coffee.
servings.
2 servings. Oh, just like you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me turn on my scale. And you can see I put the coffee in here already. Okay, it's all teared up.
All right.
So we're going to go ahead and go ahead and do this until I get to the 300 grams. Now I didn't bloom all this. I'm just doing this for the purposes of demonstrating. There we go. 300 grams. So we'll just let that go. We'll see who wins. See who comes up first. Okay, so let's bring it. We'll see which one tastes better. Looks like I'm winning.
Better is in the eye of the beholder.
Actually, they should taste pretty close to being the same. Okay, we use the same grind setting for both these. They're both pour over methods.
Yeah.
Effectively. There we go. Good enough. All right, well, let me try this and see what comes out. Nice golden cup.
Yep, looks good.
Yeah. It's the right strength.
Let me try it.
I would enjoy it a little stronger though. So for me, I would probably bump it up by a gram or two.
Ooh, and I like it just like that.
You do? Okay.
That's really good.
Yeah. Okay, let's try the other one.
Looks very similar to the other one.
It should. Go ahead and taste it.
Yep, it looks very similar. Interesting. Yeah. Good.
It came out good. Actually, this is a little more full body than that. Yeah. Okay. So both these methods come out with the right strength.
Yeah.
You can see how that works. Great. Well, we hope that you found this video useful in terms of how to dose coffee in a way that you can repeat every time and learn from it. We also published a white paper on this same topic. Take a look at that white paper. It covers things like how to do it with a mocha pot, as well as French press and espresso. So we cover all the other types of brewing methods in the white paper. And as always, put your comments and questions below if you have follow-ups to this particular video. And we look forward to seeing you online.
Yeah, and stay tuned for more informational videos, and we hope to see you soon.